Other co-workers were starting to stare, some even pulling out their phones. I clutched the hem of my shirt, bracing for a public execution. Then Mr. Sterling spoke. "She's right," he said, his voice clear and steady. I was very satisfied with her proposal. The conference room fell silent. Brenda smiled frowncy, then crumpled into a scowl. As if she'd swallowed a lemon, colleagues exchanged wide-eyed glances, phones snapping back into pockets. I stood there hard hammering, half expecting Mr. Sterling to laugh and expose my lie. Instead, he held Brenda's gaze until she shifted uncomfortably, her cheeks flushing, dismissed his set flatly. Brenda huffed, shooting me a venomous look before storming away. The rest of the office scattered, leaving me alone with Mr. Sterling and the weight of his unexpected defense. "Meet me at the airport tomorrow at 7 a.m. he said, turning on his heel business casual. "Bring the proposal, we'll review it on the flight." I nodded to send to speak. As he walked away, I noticed his hand brushed the pocket of his suit jacket, a small silver keychain peeking out. It was a tiny ceramic owl, the exact same design I made in one of my crafting streams last month. A chill ran down my spine. Coincidence or? That night, I FaceTimed my mom from my tiny apartment. Her chemo had left her weak, but her eyes lit up when she saw me. "How's the job, honey?" she asked, packing a strand of gray hair behind her ear. "I got a promotion temporarily anyway," I said, forcing a smile. "I am Mr. Sterling's personal assistant, now going on a business trip this weekend." Her brows furrowed. "That man who made you cry, be careful, Lily. Don't let him walk all over you." "I won't, I promise," though my stomach twisted. I wanted to tell her about my night, about the $50K donation that had kept her hospital bills paid, but she always warned me about online strangers. "Oh, and Mom, have you ever heard of someone named My Knight? He's a subscriber to my stream." She thought for a moment, shaking her head no. "But be smart, baby. People aren't always who they seem online." After we hung up, I opened my chat with My Knight. "Meet babe, guess what, my boss loved the proposal. He even defended me to my coworker, face screaming in fear." My Knight, I knew he'd come around. "Told you your talent was just hidden under bad drafts." Winking face, My Knight, "Have fun on a business trip. Stay safe, okay? Text me when you land." "Will do, thank you again for saving my job. I owe you big time, red heart." His reply was instant, warm and familiar, but as I stared at the screen, I couldn't shake the image of Mr. Sterling's owl keychain. It was a custom design. I only made 3 one for my mom, one for a random donor, and one for My Knight. He donated $10K that day, asking for a lucky owl to match his office decor. I pulled up old stream footage. Fast forwarding to that day, the donation message popped up from my favorite crafter. "May this all bring you as much joy as you bring me." My Knight. No face, no voice, just text, but the timing lined up. And Mr. Sterling had been in Chicago on a business trip that week, according to the company newsletter. Could he have been watching my stream from his hotel room? I laughed at the absurdity. And Mr. Sterling was a billionaire CEO who spent his days yelling at proposals and wearing tailored suits. He didn't have time to watch a random girl make pottery. Chapter 7: The Flight and the First Clue. The next morning, I arrived at the airport, bleary-eyed but determined. Mr. Sterling was already there, leaning against a pillar in a navy blazer and chinos, his suitcase at his feet. He looked less exhausted than yesterday, but the dark circles under his eyes remained. "Ready?" he asked, nodding at my carry-on as I'll ever be, I said, trying to keep my voice steady. We checked in, and soon, we were boarding a first-class flight to Seattle, our destination for the business meeting with a tech giant. That could make or break the company's quarterly earnings. First-class cabin was plush, with reclining seats and complimentary champagne. Mr. Sterling ordered a black coffee, then pulled out his laptop. "Let's go over the proposal," he said, sliding a copy across the table. "Page 17, your approach to user acquisition." "Explain it." I launched into the explanation, grateful for My Knight's detailed notes. As I spoke, Mr. Sterling listened intently, his pen scratching annotations. When I finished, he looked up, his gaze softened for a split second. "This is thoughtful," he said. "Data integration here. How did you come up with this methodology?" Panic flared. I couldn't tell him my online boyfriend had written it. "I researched industry best practices. I liked reading a lot of case studies." He raised an eyebrow but didn't press. Instead, he turned to page 23. "And this section on sustainability. You mentioned partnering with local artisans. Where did that idea come from?" My throat went dry. That was my idea. Something I'd rambled about in a stream, complaining that corporations never valued small creators. My Knight had added it to the proposal, saying, "This makes it personal. Your voice should shine through." I have a friend who's an artist, and I said, "She talks about the struggles of small businesses." I thought it would resonate with the client. Mr. Sterling nodded, but his eyes were sharp, like he could see through my lies. He closed the proposal, leaning back in his seat. "You're a good liar," he said quietly, "but not a great one." My face burned. "I'm not lying to Mr. Sterling." "Then why can't you explain the logic behind the financial projections?" He cut in there, "Brilliant, by the way. Too brilliant for someone who's never worked on a high-stakes proposal before, and that your original drafts had a very distinct voice. This one doesn't." I stared at my hands, unable to respond. He knew, he could tell I hadn't written it. But why wasn't he yelling? Why wasn't he firing me? Before I could ask, the flight attendant interrupted, offering snacks. Mr. Sterling ordered a fruit plate, then turned back to me. Tell me about your crafting stream, he said. His voice casual. I frowned. See, how did you? I watch it sometimes, he said, sipping his coffee. Your pottery videos are coming. The L keychain you made last month, I have one. My heart stopped. It wasn't a coincidence. He was my knight. Man who donated $DOLLAR50K, who'd written the proposal, who'd been cheering me on from behind a screen, was the same man who'd made me cry 3 times in a week. Why, I whispered. Why didn't you tell me? He Saturday down his coffee, his expression unreadable. I wanted to get to know you without the title, without the expectations. When I saw your stream, I liked you. You're genuine, something this world doesn't have enough of. Anger surged through me, mixing with confusion and a strange, unwanted flutter of attraction. So you thought it was okay to lie to me, to watch me cry over my boss when you were my boss. I never meant to hurt you, he said, his voice softening. Though when I read your original draft, I saw potential. But you were exhausted, burned out. I wanted to help. And when I heard Brenna talking about you, I couldn't stand by. You humiliated me, I said, fighting back tears. In front of the whole office. You called my work garbage. How is that getting to know me? He winced. That was a mistake. I'm not good at emotions, at being kind. My father taught me that weakness is failure. But with you, I want to be better. The plane hit turbulence, jostling the table. Mr. Sterling reached across, placing a hand on mine. His touch was warm, calloused. Nothing like the cold distant boss I'd come to fear. For a moment, I let it linger, then I pulled away. I need time, I said, to process this. He nodded, respecting my space. Rest of the flight was silent. Tension hanging in the air like fog. When we landed in Seattle, Mr. Sterling hailed a taxi to the hotel. As we drove through the rain-soaked streets, I stared out the window, my mind racing. My online boyfriend was my boss. The man who'd saved my mom's life was the same man who'd made my life a living hell. At work, what kind of twisted fate was this? Chapter 8, The Meeting and the Second Shock. The hotel was a 5-star luxury resort with floor-to-ceiling windows and a view of the Space Needle. Mr. Sterling checked us in handing me a key card. We're on the same floor, he said. Meeting is at 10 a.m. tomorrow, get some rest. I nodded, heading to my room. It was spacious, with a king-size bed and a marble bathroom. I dropped my suitcase on the floor, then collapsed onto the bed. Pulling out my phone, I opened the chat with my knight, my fingers trembling me. Why didn't you tell me you're Mr. Sterling? The typing bubble appeared, then disappeared. Finally, him, my knight. I was scared you'd only see the CEO, not the man who likes watching you make pottery at 2 a.m. And scared you'd think I donated the money to buy you me. You should have told me. I feel betraying my knight, I know, and I'm sorry. More sorry than I've ever been for anything. Can we talk about this in person tonight? I'll meet you in the hotel lobby at 8.